don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. That's a direct order. Do it now.
He's been put down, ripped off, cut open. Now, he's unleashed. The American insurgency starts now. This is Rusty Humphries, Rebellion Radio.
Hello and welcome. How are you, my brother from another mother? How are you, my sister from another mister? Hello, welcome. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. We are powered by the nice folks at Right Wing News. You can also watch us on a number of incredible Facebook pages, including Liberty One TV, which I would encourage you to go there and find them on your Roku or your other streaming devices and subscribe. Some great shows on there, some very nice people, and I think you'll like them. So go and check that out. And we are also sponsored by and brought to you by a great new app called the HearMeOut app. HearMeOut app. And think of it as Twitter, but with audio, with talking or music. And they have promised, unlike other social media giants, to not censor conservative speech. Now, I'm on there a couple of times a day, every day, and all you have to do is download that app. Follow me, Rusty Humphries. Type in a hashtag Rusty. I'll try to follow you too. And it's a great way to talk throughout the day and not just here on Facebook. So if you'd go there and follow me on the Hear Me Out app, I would surely appreciate it. All right. Susan says, sick of this conversation, sick of this subject. Has anyone seen the stock market job situation? It all rocks. Now, Susan, you are correct. You are correct, ma'am. However, this is going to be, whether you like it or not, the next Russia. This book, I had not heard about this book till yesterday. Had you? And yeah, I'm probably going to have to buy it. I wish I didn't. But I want to get your take on it first. And I'll tell you about, there's some stories that have popped up that are in this book, and I want to see if you believe it or you think it's just a lie. I report, you decide. Remember when Fox News used to do that? We report, you decide. That's kind of how I am. Sometimes the stories aren't what I want. Sometimes it's awful. I mean, again, Steve Bannon's a friend of mine. I know most of the people in administration. I don't know Trump, but I have met just about everybody else. I used to be a talk show host with Mike Pence back in the day. And I believe in what Trump is doing. They are going to do everything possible to try to get rid of him. But unlike the left, I am not going to blindly follow any leader. I don't care who he is. Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, the next guy, Bush, I don't care who it is. If they're not doing the right thing for America, I won't follow them. I will criticize them. I will fight against them. If they're doing the right things for America, then I will support them. See, that's what the Democrats do, well, right and wrong. They don't care what another Democrat does. They will fight to the death for them unless there's a political reason not to. For example, the Al Franken thing. Al Franken looked like he was going to be the next nominee for president for the Democrat Party, so a lot of Democrats had to get rid of him because they want to be the next Democrat nominees. They had to get rid of that guy. But let's be honest. I mean, Al Gore had rape allegations, and nobody said nothing. How many allegations against Bill Clinton? They circled the wagons and protected him. Now, again, I'm not saying Trump's done anything wrong. I don't know. But I do want to get your take here, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts here. And then, again, check in if you would, please. Fran is from North Carolina. Judy thinks Bannon's a sellout. Gillis says, I believe what's written in the book. Michael is a deplorable from Buffalo, New York. It's got to be cold there. Mike thinks this is nothing but a nice distraction. Distraction from what, Mike? What are we being distracted from right now? Curious. Jeff, they'll stop at nothing to bring down this president. That, you are correct. And that is both sides of the aisle. Everybody in politics. Nobody, and I don't care. when they go, oh boy, I'm a Republican politician and I love Trump. I've been in Washington, D.C. for 30 years and I love that he's draining the swamp. No, they're not. Those politicians care about themselves. They don't care as much about the country, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Have you shared this video today? Share the video right now. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some love. And let's keep this going here. Zelda says Zeta's in California. Lee Eric Newton is there, is American patriot. Reese is in Texas. Paul says Bannon interfered in the Senate primary race. I wanted him to sit down and shut up ever since. Christopher thinks crypto coins is big. I wouldn't put 2 cents in a crypto coin. Patrick says, no! This is pure sideshow distraction from the economic engine and all the good news the liberal-tards media absolutely do not want in the public domain of America. Well, I will absolutely cover those stories too. Patrick, you are correct. The economy has been incredible. Taking a look at just the stories for today. Let's bring it up here. We've got, let's go this one here. Our good friend Matt Drudge, you got the Dow at 25,000, 250,000 jobs, layoffs, the lowest since 1990. This is huge. We also, by the way, have a East Coast blitz by a fast-moving superstorm, massive flooding on Massachusetts coast. Arctic blast, more record smash, frigid weekend, live chill map. By the way, how cold is it where you are? It's gotten pretty cold here, too. Let's see here. Let me bring up the weather where I am right now. Oh. It's down to 63 degrees. Down to 63. It was up to 70. It was at 75 earlier today. I know everybody goes, we hate you. You live in Arizona. Believe me, you'll be laughing at me in July. Let's see here. Daisy says, we have a real set of issues in our country to be focusing on this, like California becoming a sanctuary state and breaking federal law, our veterans, etc. Well, Daisy, you're absolutely right. The problem is we can't just talk about those same issues every single day. If you do that, you will lose the attention of most people. See, one of the things that Donald Trump is very good at is persuasion, okay? He has studied persuasion. I have too. I teach persuasion techniques. And there's nothing wrong with them, especially if they're used in the hands of good people like you and me. It can be used for evil, people trying to sell you bad things or lying to you. But to understand the psychology of what makes people want to pay attention or is getting people to go in a particular way, whether it's politically or sales or whatever, there's nothing wrong with that. Part of the problem, though, is that we conservatives tend to get stuck. And we get stuck in good things, fast and furious. You could go back to the birth certificate issue. You can go back to Hillary Clinton and the crime. There's all kinds of things you can go back to, and each and every one of them are good things. And I'm not saying that we just go, oh, look, squirrel. But you have to also look head on at what's going on in the news of today. If you don't do that, then whoever puts out the story or the narrative, they control it. And we can't allow that. So we have to hit that every single day. And on this show, I try to do it in the most honest possible way. I tell you what I think. I give you behind-the-scenes stories of what I know. And then I want to hear from you. So every night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, whether it's on Facebook or Liberty One TV, or you can find here at 24 hours a day on my podcast, The Rusty Humphries Rebellion, we try to be honest about stuff. And if Trump's wrong, I'll say it. If Trump's right, I'll say it. If Steve Bannon, my friend, is wrong, I'll say it. No. Let's see here. I mean, and again, Daisy, nobody is more concerned about veterans issues than me. My father was killed in Vietnam. I have my uncle died in a veterans hospital, VA hospital. I've spent my career supporting veterans, raising money for the, over almost $2 million for the World War II memorial, the stuff for the Vietnam Wall, the moving Vietnam Wall, the visitor center, the Vietnam Wall. I mean, those things are important, and I agree. But we have to, again, look at the news. For example, I am not a big supporter of legalizing the marijuana. Woohoo, it's party time. Let's just go legalize it. Everybody go, smoke it if you got it. And, first of all, I have seen personally it negatively affect people in my life. I completely believe it's a gateway drug for many, many people. Not all, but many, many. I don't believe that adding another mind-altering substance to the world to the legal world is a good idea. Well, they did it with alcohol. Yeah. Doesn't mean it was good. But here's the thing. Jeff Sessions today has overturned a law that the Obama administration, again, stroke of the pen, law of the land, they didn't go through any legal things, but, they didn't go through Congress. But they made it easier for states to legalize marijuana in their communities. I'm not for that. However, I do believe in states' rights. And if Nevada wants to have legal hookers and California wants to have legal pot, and if Utah wants to have legal heroin, whatever, I believe the state should have those rights without the federal government coming in and getting involved. As much as I don't like legalized marijuana or gay marriage or what, we lost those battles. I accept that. I disagree with it, but we did. We lost the battles. Now Jeff Sessions says, well, I'm thinking about going after these states like California who've legalized the marijuana. Buddy, where the hell have you been? Why aren't you looking into Hillary Clinton? Why did you recuse yourself from Russia? Why have you been the quietest attorney general I think I've heard in my entire lifetime? But you're going to go after marijuana? I mean, come on. Jeffy boy, we didn't lose that Senate seat so you could go around and sniff out the marijuana. Now, I was with a friend today, and he's in the medical field. He said, you know what, the pot thing doesn't bother me. I want to see more of the drug cartels out of America. I'm with you on that. The problem is I'm not seeing it slow down that much. Are you? I mean, marijuana's been legal in a lot of places for a while. I'm still seeing the drug dealers, MS-13. What are they doing now? Now they're pushing the harder stuff. So I don't know. Nanette says, who is Bannon? No contest. Mike is in Shreveport listening. Kenny's in Illinois. James thinks Steve Bannon is a crybaby sore loser. Dean is a New Jersey deplorable. Bill is saying hello from Deer Park, Wisconsin. Emily says, who id Rusty? I'll introduce myself. How you doing, Emily? My name is Rusty Humphries, and I've been a conservative talk show host for over 30 years. I had the top 10 most listened to talk show in America on about 350 radio stations. Years ago, I wrote for Rush Limbaugh and have been in the movement for a long, long time. I've decided to get off of terrestrial radio, which is just your normal radio, because the companies who own those talk stations are in big, big trouble. And they're firing people. And they are not putting out as good a product as they used to. I can't listen to conservative talk radio anymore. Far too many commercials. They'll do 20 to 25 minutes of commercials, plus traffic and news and weather together, on almost every hour. And I find that difficult to listen to. On my show, I'll do 2 or 3 minutes in an hour. I'll tell you about the Hear Me Out app, or I'll tell you about my great book, 7 Ways to Win Political Debates with Your Liberal Family and Friends and Still Keep Them as Family and Friends, available at Amazon in paperback and Kindle and the audio version on Audible. But other than that, I'm just here to talk with you and help clear up the stories. All right. Howard says, I think Bannon should be ashamed of himself. Marjorie says, Bannon is not credible. He lies too much. Judy's a deplorable from Oklahoma. Gilbert wants to know, do I share my opioids with Rush? Well, Gilbert, very cheap shot. And shame on you. Have you ever had somebody that has gotten seriously injured? Had to go to the hospital? And they go to the hospital and they hook you up to a machine that allows you to pump as much morphine into you as you want per hour. Morphine, of course, is an opiate. And it is incredibly addictive. And then when you're done with the hospital, they say, see ya, goodbye, goodbye. And you're addicted to the opiates. Now, it has not happened to me, but it has happened to loved ones in my life. It is incredibly sad and terribly painful. And yeah, Rush Limbaugh, my friend, went through that. I think it was a back surgery that went bad. Now, Gilbert, you're a piece of garbage. So you think you're funny. Rush Limbaugh paid an incredible price, not only the addiction and the embarrassment of being outed, but something even more for a guy who loves radio and music as much as Rush Limbaugh does. He lost his hearing. Because those pills are combined with Tylenol, and you take too much Tylenol, and it really can hurt you, and it took Rush Limbaugh's hearing. And a piece of garbage like Gilbert would go, yeah, Rush Limbaugh lost his hearing. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Not Rick Maddow, that guy that looks like Chandler from Friends on MSNBC. Not any of them. Nancy Pelosi. That piece of garbage that used to be on MSNBC, and then he's out of work now. The former sportscaster, one of the most vile human beings. I wouldn't wish that pain on anybody. Yet you liberals, you think it's funny when someone goes through pain. Unless they're liberal, then they can pretty much do anything and you'll forgive them. Rush Limbaugh was tortured, humiliated, lost his hearing, and yet it's been, 10 years, 15 years? And yet you still think that's funny. I feel sorry for you, Gilbert. But then again, your parents were probably cousins, so I understand. Tom says, nice break from the Russia hysteria. Delaney says, I've stopped believing anything in the media. Carol says, I don't believe anything at all. Billy says, Bannon who? LOL. Katrina says, Bannon is a traitor and not to be believed. Mike says, not wasting my time on it. Bannon is a has-been. Move on from it already. William says, Bannon has indeed lost his mind in any respect I had for him. I will block Breitbart News if he is not fired. Now, that was one of the stories that came out today. A question, has Bannon been fired from Breitbart? I don't know. We'll find the story out. Now, if you don't know me, you don't know that Andrew Breitbart was a close friend. Matter of fact, the first radio show he ever did was mine. And I was there at the beginning. I remember going to his house where he had one little computer in the basement. I remember him, hey, come up. Well, this was later on. Come upstairs. I got this video to show you. Okay. And it's this video of the two worst actors I've ever seen. It's some guy dressed like a pimp. Looks like he's 19 years old. And a girl dressed like a hooker. And they're going around and they're talking to people at Acorn offices. And I'm going, Andrew, no offense, but these are the worst actors I've ever seen in my life. No, Rusty, this is going to blow this is going to be the biggest news ever. It's going to destroy Acorn. Buddy. He goes, no, I got a plan. I'm going to release, I got tons of videos. I'm going to release one after another. Okay, good luck. And Andrew was correct. That was, again, the thing that got, what's his name? The guy that does the video, James O'Keefe out. Made him a star, and rightfully so. David says, who cares? Just another distraction. What Bannon says was just his opinion. Luana says, deplorable from California and not happy about us turning into a sanctuary state. Brenda says, go Trump my president. Paul Williams says, Al Franken should have never been allowed in the city of D.C., let alone holding a people's seat. Yeah. To me, every time I saw Al Franken, it was like it was a Saturday Night Live bit. All right, so here's what I think. Paul says, preach it, Rusty. Katrina says, people I know who have worked with him have a totally different take than what you hear the news. Do not believe anything you hear or read that is negative, because I know for a fact they're all lies. Jerry's not happy about any of the new laws that were passed in California. Okay. Daniel says they're playing the media and the Dems like a fiddle. Mick says, are you not getting the news? Soros arrested? Obama's palace in Thailand raided? Clinton's possibly were and maybe still in custody? Mick, where the hell are you getting that information? No, I do not know. See, that's the fake news that I don't like. See, we as conservatives, take it a little bit too far, and that's not good either. We want to be honest and truthful with the stories, okay? There is a story that's out that is nasty. It's from that book, supposedly. This has been printed at the American Conservative. And I hesitate to put it up, but you're going to hear it tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to put it up, and I want to read it to you. And I want you to tell me if you think that this is true at all or complete malarkey. Okay? I'm giving you a chance to speak up. And Gertie says there's no truth in that book. It's just some angry butthole didn't get what he wanted. All right, here, let me tell you what I think happened in this book before I get to this. First of all, the left does this, the media does this all the time, and this is how they get in. People, how do they get in? How do they get into a place like the White House or the military? Here's how they do it. I've seen it happen a million times, and conservatives buy it every time. Every time. Why do conservatives buy it every time? Well, let me tell you what happens first. Reporter calls and says, hey, I know I'm from a liberal paper, but don't tell anybody, okay? Because I don't want to lose my job. I don't want people to not like me, but I like you. There's something about you that really gets me excited. And I want my liberal readers to hear and see the truth about you, because your message is the one that needs to be told. And again, I'm a liberal, but there's something about you that's special. And so all I want is complete access. Let me get in there. So you may say something awesome that you don't know that was awesome, but I'll take notes, and then I'll put it in my book or my article, and you're going to look great. I shouldn't tell you this. This is going to be the greatest article ever written about any human being. It's going to be like us, the Bible and how it wrote about Jesus and how good the Bible put Jesus. And then you're going to be like right underneath it in this story. That's how good I'm going to make you look. And the conservative goes, well, golly jeepers, he really likes me. And there's some friends in the liberal media. Well, I need to get my story out to the liberal media, and this guy's going to help me because he's my friend. never, and now I do media consulting, okay? I deal with some pretty high-powered politicians and people you know in the media, TV, radio, whatever, movies. I tell them the same thing every time, and they sometimes listen to me. Never, ever, 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 ever do it. Never. Oh, but this guy's my friend. This guy's different. No, he is not. By telling you that he is on your side, he is proving that he is just like the rest of them, and you're going to get screwed. And that's what happened to that general in the Rolling Stone article, and that's what's happened to Trump here in this book. Some liberal came in, this guy, and I don't know this author. I don't. I do have friends that do know him and say that he's not this big liar that everybody says. But again, I don't know what to believe because I don't know enough about him. So I'm just being honest here, okay? But he came to Trump, told him what Trump wanted to hear, and then he got full access. And my guess is that people get angry. My guess is something happened, and I want to see all these things in context. But my guess is at some point, Steve Bannon got mad about something. He said, that jerk Donald Trump, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And the reporter went, oh, I'm not writing this down. Don't worry. Oh, this won't be in the book. As he's writing it down, as he's taping it. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? That's my guess of what happened here. Now, what I'm concerned about is that he claims he's got audio tapes. And if there's some really nasty stuff on there, and the Trump administration is going, oh, we ain't know nothing, and it's on tape, it's going to come out. Okay? So be careful. They could be Breitbarting us, meaning leaking just a little bit out, and then everybody goes, oh, no, it's not true, and then they hit you again, and they go, oh, that's not true, and then they hit you again with something else, and then again and again and again. They learned that from Andrew Breitbart on the right, and the left might be doing it too. Now, Lyndon thinks Wolf is a story-manipulating liar. Brian says, good evening, Rusty. Randy says, okay. Mark says, who the hell cares? Jacqueline says, first time listening, liking it so far. Keep it the work exciting with conservative values. Thank you. Okay. Do me a favor, quickly, share the video. Give me some thumbs up, give me some likes, get some interactions. If you have not checked in, please do so. And I'm going to show you this book. And again, I don't like what it says. I don't know that I believe it. But it's going to come out. Okay, leftists are on record changing audio. Lyndon, let me promise you something. Nobody, and I mean nobody is better at editing audio than me. I mean nobody on the planet. I will put my editing skills up against anybody in the world, okay? Trust me, if something's been edited, I will know instantly, okay? I go back to the days when you edited with a piece of tape and a pen and a razor blade, okay? And I was really good then. With computers, it's simple. So if there is something to the audio and there is editing, I promise I'll tell you. Justin wants to know, who are you? You've said nothing. Justin, I've told you who I was. I'm sorry you're just jumping in. When the show's over, go back, rewatch the show, and maybe you'll learn something. Okay? So, Johnny says, sounds like a disgruntled employee to me. All right. This is a very big charge against Donald Trump. Supposedly, this is from the book. Now, how this picture got out, don't know, because the book hasn't been released yet. Brooke thinks Bannon should be tarred and feathered for treason against POTUS, like Brutus. Okay. This is on Facebook. And from the American Conservative, again, I don't know anything about this website. It could be a fake website. But let's just read what it says and see if it's something that if it really bothers you, or if you think that this is going to pass. All right, here we go. As his friends would observe, mindful themselves not to be taken in, he simply had no scruples. I guess we're talking about Trump here. Okay. He was a rebel, a disruptor, and living outside the rules, contemptuous of them. A close Trump friend who was also a good Bill Clinton friend found them eerily similar, except that Clinton had a respectable front and Trump did not. Okay. Right there, just right there, it's already slanted. Well, Clinton was okay, but there's nothing good about Trump. So right there, I don't like it too much. But we're going to continue. We're going to be giving an honest read and then get your take on it, because it gets pretty nasty in just a second. One manifestation of this outlaw personality for both Trump and Clinton was their brand of womanizing, and indeed harassing. Even among world-class womanizers and harassers, they seemed exceptionally free of doubt or hesitation. Now, here's one question. Has this hashtag Me Too thing been something in the works for a long time because they knew about this book? That I would not put above the left. Let's not forget the Occupy Wall Street came out a whole year before Mitt Romney decided to rerun for president. And that was all about Mitt Romney and rich people not running for office. So the left is very good at playing the long game. The left is very good at manipulating the media. The left is very good at lying and doing, again, the ends justify the means. But, again, I'm going to give it, let's see. Sherry says Clinton had scruples. Mike says, who the hell cared? Jan says, have you seen or read Bannon's tweet? He called it all nonsense. Well, interesting. Maybe it is. Maybe even everything Bannon said was made up. I'm reporting, you decide, okay? So let's get back to this book, because it's, Jessica thinks it's all a setup by the left, all of it. Lucas says penalties for treason need to start being enforced. Well, saying something bad, let's be honest. Saying something bad about the president or telling stories about a president, that's not treason. Okay, that's not treason. Putting top secret information on your home computer and that leading to the death of American citizens, that would be treason. Adam says, what's your take on justice being served in the uranium deal? I think it's been horrific. Again, Jeff Sessions, why aren't you on the uranium thing? You want to go after marijuana in California? Come on, buddy. And I don't like legalized marijuana. I'm against it. That's me. We've lost the battle. But uranium is a much bigger deal. Selling our secrets, selling our soul to the highest bidder for someone who thought they might be president of the United States is far bigger than going after the marijuana laws. That's what I think. Okay. Benghazi, same thing. But again, we've gone through those things over and over and over again. All right, so here's this horrible passage. And again, I want to see what you think. Trump liked to say that one of the things that made life worth living was getting to your friends' wives into bed. In pursuing a friend's wife, he would try to persuade the wife that her husband was perhaps not what she thought. Then he'd have his secretary ask the friend into his office once the friend arrived. Trump would engage in what was, for him, more or less constant sexual banter. So, do you still like having sex with your wife? How often? And do you blah, 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 blah. Tell me about it. And then I got girls coming in from L.A. at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs and have a great time, I promise. And all the while, Trump would have his friend's wife on the speakerphone listening in. I have a real hard time buying that. if that was true, don't you think somebody would have come up with that one and let people know about that a long time ago? I mean, last time the audio, the Access Hollywood audio was what, 11, 12 years old? See, here's one thing about liars that I have found, and you will find the same thing. A bad liar always has to take it one step too far. Always has to go a little bit too far. That's what that sounds like to me. That's what I think. Let's see here. Adam says, I'm a Jersey to Cali conservative. Welcome. John says, is that supposed to be based on fact or fiction? Adam is a moderate conservative. Dana says, just sick of politics. Janine says it is. Oh, Janine, it's all nonsense, says Lyndon. Jessica says, no, just no. Jan says, amen. Get to the real issues. Hashtag no gossip. Mary says, agree on that one, Rusty, but Clinton would make a great escape artist. They keep getting away with things. Yes. Nikki says, have not read, don't plan to. Peter says, I don't believe it either. Jody says it's sick. Okay. Arlene says it's such garbage. I believe it to be garbage too. But in this world where you can take somebody down by a simple accusation, now it's no longer the hashtag Me Too thing. All women have to be believed is the motto. Well, that sounds good until you take a step back. That means all women should be believed and not questioned. That means you can make any allegation you want. You are to be believed, and the person that you make your allegation against is to be destroyed. I'll go with all women have a right to be heard. All women have a right to their day in court. All women have a right to confront their accuser, their accused, or the person that they're accusing. But also, I think all people accused have the right to address their accuser, because it's too easy to destroy somebody's life today. Steve says, why don't Sessions do anything at all? Did someone say he was from Alabama? Jody says, that's not entirely true. I am a woman. Well, that's what they're trying to suggest out there. Let's see. Oh, this story's great. Different story. Let's get off it. And I'll take more of your comments. Do you believe that story in Trump? I don't. And that was the first I read it all the way through. Morris says, why not all men have the right to be heard? I agree with that. I think on both sides, whether you're a man or a woman, you can accuse, and then the accuser should have the right to defend his or herself without their lives being destroyed beforehand. Jody says, so what do we do, Rusty? Asked Jessica. I think what we have to do is, first of all, not just go, oh my gosh, somebody did that, on the mere mention of a rumor, and say, okay, well, now you have to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. And then decisions can be made. But at this point, it is too easy to destroy somebody's life with the simple accusation. And that's on the left and the right. I don't like to see anybody's life destroyed because of a mistake. Life destroyed is something they did 15, 20 years ago. You could say, I'm sorry. I've learned my lessons. If you want to have some kind of a restitution with the victim, okay. Jessica says, but in today's media, the accusation is the conviction. That's right. Morris says they didn't prove it with Roy Moore. Nope. Martin wants to know if gender neutrals now get 2 votes. Good question. Let's see. Jessica says, I don't believe Bannon, plus he needs a haircut. All right, here's a good story. This is something, again, the liberal media will hate. I love, love, love it. Good for you, Mr. President. U.S. suspends security aid to Pakistan over militant groups. The United States said today it was suspending an undisclosed amount of security assistance to Pakistan, which two officials said was worth more than $255 million until Islamabad takes action against the Afghan Taliban and the Haqqani network, or however you pronounce it. Yes! It is about time that we say to these countries around the world that don't like us, oh, okay, well, we're not going to, you don't want to be a friend. That's fine. We're going to stop giving you money. UN, we're going to stop giving you money. It's about time. Jan says, not relevant. Who cares? Save our country. Blah, blah, blah. Bannon and all the other garbage. The wall, swamp, DACA, North Korea. Real issues. No Jerry Springer garbage. Jan, first of all, calm down. Calm down, Jan. Calm down. It's all relevant. Don't you understand? If you stay on the same subjects every single day, you will lose the audience. This is what conservative talk radio did wrong. It is why the liberal messaging has worked. What do? They put out great movies that slip in liberal messages. Just slip them in. Then conservatives do movies, and it's all conservative message. Not much story. Okay? If you do not understand all of the issues, and as Andrew Breitbart said, Hollywood controls culture. Culture controls the country. He is 100% right. Jan, first things first, if we're losing the culture war. Okay? 20 years ago, could you have imagined gay marriage? 20 years ago, could you have imagined legalized marijuana? There's all kinds of things in the culture that is being lost. Dorothy says this is a contingency of harassing our president. People love to jump on the float of a parade. That's true. Lee says, I swear the leftists are brainwashing people via TV. They put out these lies and people accept them as gospel truth before there's any evidence offered, except for Hillary. Anything Hillary or Obama did was okay. They both broke the law so many times and are still walking free. Listen, the stuff that Hillary and Obama colluded to do, to wiretap the Trump administration, to create a false dossier paid for by the Democrat Party. These are things that now we know are fact, okay? They created a false report. John McCain helped them by releasing it to members of Congress. Then they went to the court, to the Justice Department, and said, listen, we've got this file that shows that Trump did all these nasty things with Russia. Not mentioning that the file's fake and paid for by the Democrats. And by the way, the Hillary Clinton campaign, if you read Donna Brazil's book, and I suggest you do, Hillary Clinton campaign ran the DNC because the DNC had no money. All the money went to Hillary. Hillary paid the DNC's bills. So you could say, well, the DNC paid for this, Hillary didn't. No. DNC weren't able to do anything without Hillary, especially when Debbie Wasserman Schultz was running the party. Okay? Mary says, I don't listen to Hollywood anymore, and better yet, I never listen to the NFL. But Mary, you're unique. I can talk to you all day long. You understand these things. But the majority of Americans don't. And so I'm trying to help you understand how to get to your friends and relatives. Because if we don't get to them, we will lose. The liberal movements of the 60s and 70s have become ingrained in our second nature now to our children. Today's generation thinks nothing of illegal immigration. What do you mean? Why do you say that, Rusty? Because they grew up in schools sitting next to them in school. The children of illegal immigrants, the dreamers, have gone to school with your kids. And they've been taught by them and the teachers that they have a right to be there as much as anybody else. So this brainwashing has happened, and it is successful. Earl says, as far as brainwashing, look at Taco Bell's new commercials. Well, by the way, there is one great thing. Taco Bell now is having nacho fries. I don't even know what it is, but I like the sound of it. Richard says, I think Bannon is a joke. He's kryptonite to the GOP. Larry says, I think Steve Bannon is a control freak who didn't get his way. Jessica says, we've all been brainwashed by politics for our whole lives. School is controlled by politics. You are right, Jessica. And that's why every night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, I come on here. And I tell you some of the news stories. And we go a little bit deeper. And I try to explain to you some of the ways and tricks and techniques that are being used on you so you'll be able to see through it and help other people see it as well. Jody says, I've never seen such chaos. Well, go back to the 60s and the early 70s and take a look at those same people when they were in college, the damage that they caused this country. Rhonda thinks, I think it's all smoke to get the media distracted. Lane says, one common denominator with people that have common sense, parents with common sense. It all starts and ends in the home. Lane, that is very easily said. But I'm telling you, as a parent, it is so easy for these kids to be brainwashed. My kids come to me and go, but Donald Trump did this. No, sweetheart, let me explain to you why that's not true. But my friends say, my teacher said, blah, 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 blah. Bob, so what are you, Rusty, a Limbaugh striker? I don't know what that means. Jan's a teacher for 25 years. Mary says more people should be homeschooled if they're able to teach. You know, I would love to homeschool my daughter, but I got to work. Wish I could. I got to feed the family. The other thing that's interesting is, and we'll get this is how far the left is going. And it really is a shame. Where is it? Oh, by the way, they're saying stay away from romaine lettuce. Stay away from romaine lettuce right now. It's just a distraction. I don't know if you eat romaine lettuce or not. People should stay away from romaine lettuce until the U.S. and Canadian health officials get to the bottom of an outbreak of E. coli. It's happening right now. The CDC say that at least 58 people got sick in the U.S. and Canada. One person has died because of romaine lettuce. So there is your romaine lettuce update for the day. That's not the funny one, though. This is how far Democrats are going to try to discredit President Trump. And this is why they will fail. And it's almost why I want them to continue. Because if you remember, when Republicans went after Bill Clinton, and the only thing Ken Starr came up with was the Monica Lewinsky thing. He didn't get into all the real nasty stuff. He just kind of stopped at Monica Lewinsky. What happened to Bill Clinton? It was almost like Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you strike me, I will come back and be far more powerful. If you try to impeach me, I will come back and be far more powerful. And that happened. It did. You know, the guys, the Republicans in the Senate laughing the whole time. We're never going to vote this guy out. So, in some ways, I'm glad that they're going over about it. And let's not forget the poll that came out that Trump is at the same level of popularity that Obama was in the first year. But this is pretty interesting and sad. A Yale psychiatrist has briefed members of Congress on Trump's mental fitness. Should we play a little here? Let me play a little bit of this represents this Democrat. You got to hear it only because you've got to hear how far out of the mainstream and how far the Democrats are pushing it. Okay, here we go.
You and several of your Democratic House colleagues met with a psychiatry professor from Yale, Dr. Bandy Lee. She told CNN today, quote, "As the president is unraveling, he seems to be losing his grip on reality and reverting to conspiracy theories. There are signs that he is going into attack mode when he is under stress. That means he has the potential to become impulsive and very volatile," unquote. Did she say that to the assembled congresspeople?
Well, I think that Dr. Lee and other psychiatrists who've been up to meet with members of Congress have been predicting increasingly delusional and paranoid behavior on the part of the president. Of course, we're not mental.
Speaking of delusional and paranoid, you know, Mr. Crazy Hair here. Well, okay, let me just play. You got to hear most of this. It's just silly. And Jane, goodbye. Thanks for coming. I don't like this. You're like Jerry Springer. Jane, it's because of people like you why conservatives lose the battle of the media and the battle of the minds. Sorry. All right, but yes, this is news. The Democrats actually are having hearings where they're going after Trump's mental capacities. But listen to Congressman Crazy Hair here.
Health professionals, we're not psychiatrists. That's not our role. But we do have a very defined and important role under the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, which is to set up a body that could act with the vice president in the event of an emergency when the president becomes unable for mental or physical reasons to successfully discharge the powers and duties of office.
Sure,
so the bill just sets up the body that would be able to go to work if there were a real crisis.
Right. But I guess one of the concerns would be a lot of these mental health experts, and we've seen them weighing in the New York Times and on cable TV and elsewhere. There was something set up in the mental health community called the Goldwater Rule, deeming it unethical for any mental health professional to give a professional opinion on a public figure who he or she did not personally evaluate. How could she say such a thing without examining the president?
Well, they're not violating the Goldwater Rule, which is incorporated into a lot of state bodies of law governing mental health practitioners, because they're not making a specific diagnosis under the DSM of the president. As I understand what they're doing, they're acting the way that any citizen has a right to act under the First Amendment to say that they think that the president is dangerous and unable to successfully meet the powers and duties of office.
You know what's dangerous is idiots like that guy. That's what's dangerous. Congressman Crazy Hair. Making stuff up, scaring people that aren't paying that much of attention to politics, people that don't understand, and they try to hide behind psychiatrists who are as slanted as they possibly can be, and they're the ones that are dangerous. That's if you ask me. Mario says every psychiatrist I've ever met has turned out to be a nutcase themselves. That's the first thing I thought when I saw these quacks accusing the president of being unstable. Mario, I think you're right. Kathy says Crazy Hair needs more help. Thin Tin Hat, says Randy. They trying to impeach, says Brian. Dan, see, Mary says Mr. Crazy Hair. I was thinking the same thing. Glenn says, Dennis, they're not going to do anything to the Clintons. People that evil and the crooks get by with anything. Crooks, I'm guessing. Lucas says he looks as strung out as everybody in Colorado. You guys are awful. Lee says they are operating under Plan B. Try to remove him from office, claiming he is unfit. That is correct. Izzy says only Democrat psychologists or psychiatrists. That's true, too. And Morris says the uninformed will believe that garbage. And that's why we got to point it out, guys. That's why every night I come on here to let you know what is the truth and what you need to be paying attention to. These aren't distractions when you understand what the distractions are. When you are knowing and owning the news and owning what it is they are trying to feed the rest of the populace, this is how you make a difference. It's not by changing the world. It's by changing opinions of your friends one at a time. And that's how you make a difference. Okay? Do me a favor. Would you please follow me on the HearMeOut app? HearMeOut app. It's a great app. You just download it to your phone. And I comment a couple times a day. And there's some other great folks on there too. And it doesn't cost anything. And it's like Twitter, but it is with audio. So it's a lot of fun. Okay. Courtney says, I don't see how it has grown into such a big deal. It's grown into a big deal because people haven't stopped it and said, this is idiotic. Let me show you why it's wrong. You can't do this. And again, it's only the crazy people that think Donald Trump's crazy. Here at 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West. On Facebook, on some great Facebook pages like Right Wing News and American Journal. And you can also see us on Liberty One TV and Team Trump and I Support Barron Trump and other places. Also, my podcast, The Rusty Humphries Rebellion. You can find that at iTunes, Stitcher, and any place you get great podcasts. Also, a great podcast I do with the incredible author Orson Scott Card. It's not so much politics, it's we review everything. That's the name of the show. Orson Scott Card's We Review Everything, and it's everything from Star Wars to toilet paper. Glenn says, love watching you, Rusty. You tell it like it is. Thank you. Mary once asked who won the $100. I don't remember. I'll get that out tomorrow. I'm sorry, Mary. Thank you for reminding me. Jessica says, follow this guy and hear me out on Facebook. Yes, find my page also. My name's Rusty Humphries. Just find my page. I'm in a blue shirt. That's the easiest way to find me. All right, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West. My name is Rusty Humphries. Thanks for hanging out. This is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.